going to jump right into practice today. We have some, I'm trying to adjust this light. There we go. We're going to work kind of hard at first. Then we're going to do some deeper stretching and then a little bit of relaxation in the end. We're going to throw in a little bit of balance work in there too. So if you need a chair to hold on to, a table or a wall, then pull your mat up close to one of those. I also have a blanket here. You can use anything. We're going to support ourselves a little bit when we get down onto the ground and do some deeper stretching. So you might have a pillow, a blanket, or just something around that can help support you. Can really be anything that you find, and I'll show you how that works. All right, so we're going to start in mountain pose at the top of our mat. So when you come here, we're going to take all ready, toes together, heels slightly apart, palms facing forward. And as we're hanging out here, we're letting the shoulders relax down. And this may look like you're just standing still in place, but there's a lot of activity going on. And there's a lot of things your brain can focus on inward. So that's the point here. We're trying to kind of eliminate any external distractions and come into your own self. So as we do that here, we will make sure we've got a good footing, good foundation, toes digging in, heels pressing in, slight bend through the knees, and just a neutral spine. No trying to stand up super tall or trying to squeeze the shoulder blades, just really natural feeling here as you hang out in your mountain pose. And as usual, we're going to begin to breathe in, if you're not already, through the nose and then out through the nose also. So just notice your breath. Look down at the floor if that feels right for you. Notice your in-breath. How long is it taking you to take that breath in? Maybe even count. Sometimes I like to count. That helps keep my mind focused on my breath. And then you're exhaling also through the nose, maybe keeping track of that count as well. And let's just take a couple of very purposeful deep breaths in. So you're going to breathe in through the nose deeply, and then we're going to exhale through the mouth this time. So inhale, exhale, kind of like we're sighing. Just getting rid of any stress, any anxiety, any worry. We're just going to let all that go. The events that have happened so far today or this week, we're just pushing that aside for a moment. Very nice. And with our next breath, we're going to go ahead and get moving. So let's sweep the arms up, take a breath in and follow the thumbs. Inhale. Exhale, bring it through heart center, just kind of like scraping through your forehead, down the chest, and then pushing away. And then I want you to feel some, like you're lifting something up, so there's some tension there. Push up toward the ceiling, push the hands together and create sort of some tension here. So we're warming up the arms, biceps, shoulders. Sweep it up. We also get a little bit of lat engagement and even maybe some traps. So all those back muscles as well. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale through heart center. Nice. On our next one, be prepared. We're going right into a swan dive. And our forward fold, once we get there, we're stepping straight back to plank. So it may feel quick, but just follow along as you inhale. Swan dive right away. So leading with the chest, hinging at the waist, bend the knees, round over. Hands to the mat. And we're going to step back to that plank position, 1 foot at a time, holding in our plank. Let's just get nice and tight here. So we're rounding through the spine just a little bit. Push through the hands, push through the toes, and I want your heels to go back toward the wall. So if you're way up on your tippy toes, settle back just a little bit. Keep the belly drawn in, and if you need to modify, you're on your knees. And we're going to practice Ujjayi style breath while we're holding this plank. So Ujjayi style is quick breath in, quick breath out through the nose. So you're kind of like creating a nice wave of air that's forceful in and out. Let's try that 2 more. Great, and then we'll push back into our downward dog. So if you're in your modified plank, come on back to downward dog. Let's paddle the heels, 1 heel at a time. Dropping a knee, dropping a hip, and just getting some movement here. Feel a stretch where you feel a stretch. Make sure your hands are out nice and wide. We're going to use the thumb and the middle finger for most of our foundation, but all 10 fingers are pressing into the floor. Now when you're ready, we're going to push into those heels. Get a nice stretch through the posterior. Taking a breath here on our inhale, we're going to come back to that plank position. Again, you can modify. Lower down, elbows stay in really close to the ribs. You can squeeze and lift for baby cobra or push all the way up for upward dog. Then back to downward dog. Let's take the right leg, lift it into the air, just straight back, keeping the hips squared, and step that foot through the hands. Once we make it here to this kind of runner's lunge position, make sure you're stable. You can walk the hands up onto the knee if you'd like. We're going to stay really low into this warrior one posture. So you can be down on the knee for this warrior one, or if you want a little more out of it today, you're just reaching and lifting with the hands, lift the chest up and out. Ujjayi style breath here, because this is a hard pose too. So inhale quickly, exhale quickly. Then we're taking hands back to the mat and step forward. Just push off, bring the toes together, heels slightly apart. And then we're dangling over into our forward fold. So we're letting the head and the neck be relaxed. Just kind of dangle here, let the head nod and shake. Spine lengthening. Take one more big deep breath. On our next inhale, we're lifting halfway. So slide those fingertips up the shins, engage the core. Exhale, collapse. We're going right into chair pose from here. So arms reverse circle and up by the ear. Sit low, Ujjayi style. Hinge at the waist. Reverse your swan dive out and up. Bring it through heart center. So now we're back to where we started. We're going to make sure that we're keeping that breath regular. So let's sweep through a few times. Inhale. Exhale through heart center. When you feel your heart rate, if you're pounding in your heart, then let's try to use this time to slow the heart rate down. We can do that mentally just by taking a big deep breath in. Exhale through heart center. Very nice. All right, back through that whole thing. So we're going to reach it up, prepare for our swan dive. Forward fold, hands to the mat, step back for plank. We're not going to stay here long. We're going right back to our downward dog. Hold here for 2 big deep breaths. Sink into those heels. Inhale back to plank and chaturanga. Up dog or baby cobra. Back to down dog. Taking the left leg into the air this time, bring knee to chest, step it through. Stay in that low lunge. When you're ready, bring arms up by the ears. Warrior one. Ujjayi breath. Core stays tight. Hands to the mat, step it forward. Toes together, heels apart. Rounding into forward fold, relax the upper body. Now, if you have the hamstring flexibility here, you can straighten the knees out for your forward fold, or you can keep that deep bend and just let the upper body relax. That's totally up to you. And then from here, we're going into our chair pose. So sweep those arms around, bring them up by the ears, sit low, Ujjayi breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Collapse. Reverse swan dive, out and up. Bring that heart rate down. 2 breaths here. Do that again. And right back to where we started. Inhale, sweep up. Swan dive and fold. Hands to the mat, step back for plank. Adjust yourself, and then downward dog. Inhale back to plank and chaturanga. Up dog. Inhale. Exhale, down dog. Right leg lift, step it all the way through. Low lunge, warrior one. 2 deep breaths here. Hands to the mat, step forward. Forward fold. Sweep around for chair. Collapse back. Inhale, halfway lift. Back over into our forward fold, reverse swan dive. One more time through that whole series, you guys. How are you feeling? Bring that heart rate down with your breath. Very nice. Here we go. Last time. Sweep it up. Swan dive and fold. Step or hop back. Down dog. Move through your sun salutation. Left leg up. Step it through. Nice deep lunge. Balance. Ujjayi breath, tight core. Hands to the mat, step forward. Sweep it around, chair pose. Forward fold, halfway lift. Reverse swan dive. Through heart center. Very nice, everybody. Let's do that again. Through heart center, back to our mountain posture. How do we feel? That's what we're going to assess really quick. So we got jumping in there right away. If you immediately noticed, oh goodness, this is a lot for me today, too overwhelming, too much, then that's okay. You notice something about yourself. If this felt really good and it kept you fired up and it just went right along with how your day was going, great, I want you to notice that too. So just take a moment, reflect back on how you dealt with working hard without really any preparation. Okay, let's take a moment, just kind of meditate in that mindset for a moment. You're breathing. If you need to breathe out through the mouth, it's going to let some heat out. So I want you to notice as you breathe in through the nose, it's like a cool sensation through the nose. Letting heat out through the mouth. Taking that cool breath. Very nice. Working into a balanced posture here. This is our tree pose. So we're going to spread the toes out on all of the feet, both of the feet, all of the toes on both feet. We're going to spread them out, and let's plant them back down into the ground like we have little claws, and we're digging in. So these are our roots in our tree, okay? And our trunk is our leg and our body, and then our arms are the branches. So you can kind of think of it that way. Branches are going to help us balance a little bit. So maybe get your arms in a place where you feel like you have the best success rate here, because it gets frustrating when you can't balance. Then your anxiety can take over there. So just find a place. If you have to hang on to something, that's fine. But we're going to take a foot, turn it out, take that knee actually, turn it out to the side, and then slide that leg up. As you can go like to the ankle or calf, or you can take it all the way up and into the inner thigh. What I want you to try to do is drag it up as far as you can without touching it and see where you land. If it's on the knee, let's reach down and pull it up a little higher. If it's on the calf, you're fine. But once we get into this position, we're going to take kind of the palms facing up, our branches facing up toward the sky, and just let them float up. And once you feel like, okay, this is a good position, I need to stop here. This feels really good. I can balance here. We're going to press the thigh into the foot, and the foot into the thigh, or the leg into the bottom of the foot, wherever you are, and create that solid bond, and then the knee goes out to the side. So that's what we're working toward. If you're holding on to something, that's fine. I just want you to focus your, what we call drishti, which is your focus or your gaze. Find something that is very stable that you can look at, because stable breeds stable. Chaos breeds chaos. So if you're watching, like I have birds all over the place, I'm watching those birds, I'm going to feel chaotic. So I'm going to find something very still. Start to take some big deep breaths very purposefully. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can take the arms up overhead. You can bring hands to heart center. You can make your arms cactus arms or tree branch arms. It's your choice. Let's hold here for about 3 more breaths, whatever that looks like for you. 3 deep breaths, long exhales. Once you finish that final inhale, on that final exhale, you will slide the foot back down, drop the arms, and let's just shake out that standing leg. That was a lot of standing on one leg, so good job on that. And we're just gonna go right into the other side. So, shifting our weight to that other foot, toes spread out as wide as you can get, digging down into the floor. That's your foundation. You need to feel the earth underneath you, holding you to it. Now once you shift your weight there and you turn that foot out, or knee out, and slide the foot up, then you're gonna find your perfect spot for you, and you lift up and out of that. So it's like half of your body's pushing down and the other half is lifting up. I love that kind of yin-yang feeling, and we do it a lot and don't even realize it. So let's be purposeful there. Taking your foot as high as you want to on the leg, but creating that bond. Then we can float the hands. Knee stays out to the side. Let's keep our bellies nice and tight so pelvic floor muscles can help you here, even around to the side body and in the back. All of those muscles squeezing can help you stay, or keep you rather, from wobbling around. Okay, help you stay strong, I guess is what I wanted to say. So stay strong there, keep breathing. Take the arms and the branches where you want them to go. Dig those roots down into the ground. Create a firm place right where you stand, no chaos. One more big deep breath. Nice and slowly bringing that foot all the way back down to the ground. Very nice job, you guys. Shake it out. All right, good balancing portion. I'm gonna go into some deeper stretching now, pigeon pose, which maybe you're familiar with. If not, it's just your knee comes in front, one knee is in front, one leg is straight back behind you, okay? So to get into that though, we first are going to go into a downward dog because we can use our legs to help us get that split. So let's sweep it up, big deep breath in, swan dive, and fold. Step back to your plank position. This should be a good distance, so just kind of notice where your feet are, where your hands are. Shoot the hips up into the air. Settle down onto the heels here, and I'm gonna go left leg first. You can choose whichever one you want, but with that left leg up in the air, I'm gonna lift up, and then I'm gonna bend the knee like I'm trying to touch my glute with my heel and open that hip. So big open hip. And then from here, I'm gonna lift up onto the toe that's on the ground and sweep that knee up and between the hands. Now once I get here, I'm gonna settle down into this by letting this back knee touch the floor, letting those toes uncurl and go flat. And then I wanna try to stay up on top and not lean over to the side. So this is where you might need this blanket. It might sit right underneath your hip on this side. So if I'm facing forward and I can't quite settle down into this, if my hips are not level, then I might put something under here to level out my hips and not make it so difficult, okay? Because you should be able to let go and you should be able to balance. And if you can't do that, prop yourself up a little bit, okay? That might help you get a little deeper into the stretch. So once we get into this pigeon posture, now the idea here is to keep that knee going out at an angle and get the shin as parallel with the chest as possible. So the deeper into that you are, the deeper into pigeon you are, the more you're gonna feel it in all these different areas. Hopefully you're here, holding yourself up, nice tall spine. Let's open up the throat and the chest and kind of lift up and out, a little bit of a back bend to start with. And then we're gonna start to walk it down. Lead with the chest, walk your hands forward. Go as far as you can. If you can get to your elbows, you're gonna rest there. If you need to stay up on your hands, that's fine. You're just gonna exhale and sink into it a little bit deeper. Every time you exhale, you're giving a little more to the ground, giving a little bit more. Take those deep breaths. Use your exhales to benefit you and relax. If you can come all the way down, maybe even stacking your fists, let your forehead relax. We want every muscle to release here. Get as small on the floor as you can. Notice where you feel the pull and the tug, where the tightness is. See if you can mentally let go just a little bit more of those areas. Not holding on, telling your body, it's okay, I got you, the ground has us, we're fine. We're not gonna pull anything and we're not gonna overstretch. So if you feel like you are overstretching, back off a little bit. Bring that knee a little more back to the center. That can help a little bit with that outer glute and hip. And we're gonna take one more big deep breath here. And then nice and slowly rolling up and walking yourself up. Good, hands on either side of the knee. We'll dig the toe back in the back. We're gonna lift that knee up off the ground, push ourselves up and sweep our leg back for our downward dog. So back where we began here in our down dog position. We'll take the right leg, lift it up into the air, open the hip, bring that heel back to the glute, and then sweep that knee forward right between the hands there on the mat. We're taking knee kind of out to that right hand, so right knee out to the right hand. Heel, that right heel is just underneath your left hip bone, or again, if you need your helpful little blanket there, you can stick it all the way under, as far as you need it to go. Okay, and the idea is to be able to let go and balance and sink down in onto that left side. So once you get into that position, up on the fingertips, we're gonna kind of roll the shoulders back and down, open the chest, lift the head just slightly, sink toward the ground a little more, kind of a back bend here, opening through the abdominal wall. And then we'll slowly exhale and bow forward. Take it slow, stop where you think, okay, that feels really tight, I'm gonna stop here, take a big deep breath, see if I can relax a little more. Can I give a little more? Maybe, maybe not, but just give it a shot. And finally, after one more big deep breath, we will slowly use our exhale to walk all the way back up. Hands on either side of the knee, digging the toe in, lift and sweep back to our down dog position. And here we're going to hang out for a breath or two, sink into those heels, open the chest, dangle the head between the arms. And finally, bringing the knees down, we're going to take the knees out toward the edges of our mat. And once you get into that position, let's just sit back onto the heels first. You might even bring your chest up. And then from here, if we have that connection, if we're able to do that, this again might be, if you can't quite touch the heels, you might use a blanket underneath the thigh just to help prop you up a little bit more, to feel like you can get a little more stretching out of the quads without overstretching, okay, especially in those knees. And then we'll take the hands and we're gonna walk all the way down as far as you can go, staying with as much weight on your heels as you can. Then we'll walk forward, keeping the elbows up off the mat. Let's let the forehead rest and the chest sink toward the ground. Taking a few rounds of breath very purposefully here. Letting that belly sink toward the floor, not trying to hold anything in. We're not using our core strength at all here, no strength. And then we can just relax those elbows to the floor. Let gravity pull on you a little bit here. And then finally, we're going to change it up just a little bit, still in child's pose, but we're going to bring the knees together so you can keep that bolster under you or blanket if you need it. And instead of keeping the arms out in front, we're just gonna let the chest kind of hang out here on top of the thighs. And let's sweep the arms around and grab the bottoms of the feet. We'll let the shoulders round forward.
Let the head and neck relax completely. And then finally, we'll just let the fingertips release, and the knuckles of the hands are going to rest on the floor. A nice rounded spine here, so you can feel the difference between that extended arm position and then the rounding of the spine. Just release and relax. No tension in the shoulders. Keep the shoulders down. One more big deep breath here. And we'll take the hands right by the face.
Push yourself up nice and slowly. Let some blood flow return. And we'll crisscross those ankles underneath us and come to a seated cross-legged position. A nice, comfortable seated cross-legged position. Hands out onto the knees, sitting nice and tall. We'll turn the palms facing up. Let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. The chest is open. And if you can smile today, then give yourself a smile. And it makes you just feel lighter when you can smile. Hopefully, there are things to be thankful for in your life. So maybe spend a moment here finding some gratitude in your heart, thankful for the body that you have that's capable of moving. Or maybe it's just the weather that you're thankful for. It can be the biggest or the smallest or the most insignificant thing, but it sure can open up your heart and bring gratitude into your life. And so with that, thank you so much for joining today. Let's sweep the arms up and breathe in. Exhale, bring hands to heart center. Namaste.